All right, so today I'm going to show you how to make some homemade pizza at home. First of all, you're going to need yourself a bunch of flour, about 4 cups, and all the actual ingredients and measurements are going to be posted somewhere. So look for those in the future. So flour, you're going to need 2 packages of yeast, some olive oil, sugar, and you're also going to need to have some salt, as well as some pretty warm water. You're going to pour your water into a mixing bowl, and along to that mixing bowl, you're going to want to add that those 2 packages of yeast that I showed you at the beginning. And go ahead and take your yeast and dump it into that warm water, and take a whisk or a spatula or even your hands and kind of mix it all around until you think that all the yeast is pretty kind of like saturated with water or soaked. And then let it hang out for 5 minutes in a warm area. While that's hanging out for 5 minutes, go ahead and oil a different bowl with oil and have that ready. During those 5 minutes, you're going to see that your yeast does this, and that's a sign that your yeast is working and that it's waking up. If you don't see that in 5 minutes, you have dead yeast. Try again. After 5 minutes, go ahead and add in a bunch of the dry ingredients, which include the salt and the sugar and the olive oil. And you want to make sure that you mix all that together so that it incorporates evenly. And once you have the salt, the sugar, and the oil all blended into your mixing bowl, you're going to add in the final component, which is all the flour. Now, this recipe is going to make you like 2 pounds of pizza dough. You can freeze one of them and then use one now. So it makes a lot. So after you have all those ingredients mixed together, you're going to take a wooden spoon and mix it all together. And what you're going to find is that the dough, as you're mixing it, is going to start becoming pretty shaggy. It kind of seems like it needs more flour, but don't be fooled. It's going to be extremely sticky, and you're going to find that you might even have to move to just mixing it with your hands because the wooden spoon might be too difficult. So you can see I just ended up mixing it with my hands here. And don't be afraid of it being sticky. It's actually going to become a lot less sticky when we let it sit for about an hour. So after you've gotten to this stage, go ahead and turn that dough into that prepared bowl that you kind of coated with oil. And I added a little bit more olive oil at the top and kind of spread it all around. And then you're going to cover it with a towel or plastic wrap for 1 hour. And after 1 hour, you're going to see that it's doubled in size and it's become pizza dough. It should look really puffy. It should be kind of soft. It doesn't stick to my hands anymore. And so after that hour, you're going to flour a cutting board or a table or something and dump that pizza dough. So what you see me working with here is half of the dough. I put the other half of it in the freezer. So you're only working with half of it now. And what I'm doing is I'm kneading. I'm folding it onto itself and getting it a lot smoother than it was before, so that it's workable. As you can see, it's a lot softer as I kneaded it. And like your dough should look like that. Once you have it at that stage, you're going to take a rolling pin, or you could even do this with your hands if you feel comfortable. I just had a rolling pin. And you're going to add a little flour, and using a rolling pin in your hand, you're going to stretch it out into a pretty big circle. As you can see right here, I'm using my rolling pin and I'm kind of rotating it 90 degrees every single time I roll. And I'm noticing that's a little sticky, so I add a little bit more flour, and that should solve any of the stickiness. I keep adding a little bit more flour on the top and on the bottom and use my rolling pin to just continue stretching it out to the size that I want. I think I ended up making it about like 13 inches big or 14. I don't know. You decide how big you want to make it. I wanted a big pizza. So you could even start getting into the shape you want and start using your hands. Finally, take a cookie sheet and turn it upside down and put a piece of parchment paper at the top. Or, I mean, you could even just use a cookie sheet the way that you normally use it. And as you can see, I'm taking my rolling pin and I'm kind of lifting it onto the upside down cookie sheet and preparing it. Now, my pizza no longer looks like a circle. It ended up looking like a rectangle, but that's okay. Then the fun part, start adding your toppings. Now, this is pretty weird, but I'm starting with cheese because I don't want my pizza to be soggy. And I find that adding the cheese first is going to help keep the crust crispy uh, and not soggy. And that's usually a common mistake. A lot of people go over on the sauce. So I'm going to start with cheese first. And so I'm just going to go with a lot of cheese. And after that, I'm going to just take some regular store-bought pizza sauce, just a jar of pasta sauce actually, and I'm going to just dollop little bits of it across the pizza. You may think that's weird, but in the oven, it's actually going to spread and look like the pizza that you're used to. And it's going to ensure that your pizza doesn't end up soggy once it's done. So I dolloped all over the surface. I'm going to add in, of course, classic topping, pepperoni, and spread that evenly all across the pizza here. And then I'm gonna add red onion because I like red onion. That's a classic combo for me. Once you've topped it, you're going to put this into a 475-degree oven, and after about 12 to 13 minutes, here's the final product: a cheesy, 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 delicious pizza. It's crispy, it's delicious, it's gooey, and I think that if you guys end up making this, you're gonna really, really, really enjoy it. So hopefully you guys make this, and let me know what you think. Thanks. Okay, so here's the final product, sliced. Let's try it.